Hello and welcome back to Do Most PC Builds. Today it's time to do another case review. So as always with the case reviews, I'll get the case up, we'll unbox it, then we'll give a walk around of the case, we'll do a build in it, and then at the end I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusion. Oh, and before I do the build, I'll show you what parts I'm putting in, etc, etc. I've already given hints about what I'm going to go in to the case in previous shorts, so some of you may be aware, but I'll still go through the parts, etc, and then do all the other stuff I talked about. Alright, so without further ado, let's have a look at the case that I'm going to do a review on today. So the case I'm going to do a review on is the Lian Li CG237. Looks very height wide 50 type case really. So it looks very similar. You've got the vents on top, you've got the glass around the outside. The only difference I would say is you haven't got the vertical mounted GPU, which is by standard in the height cases. So without further ado, let's get it unpacked. We'll get it on the side and then I'll do a walkthrough. So I've got the case out. Before we start going around the case, one of the things I do want to mention is that it was really well packed. It's not polystyrene, it's kind of like the squishy foam stuff, don't even know what the technical name is, but it's got reinforced cardboards on all the corners. So it was really well packed in the box. I even think even UPS or FedEx would have struggled to do this some damage because it was so well packed. So I thought I'd mention that first. So now I've got it out. The first thing you see when you open the box is the manual, by the way. Just the manual, there's no goodies there. So the goodies will probably be inside. First thing that sticks out, lovely piece of curved glass at the front. That is just well done. If you look at the metal across the top, you'd expect with this to be, unless it was sheen really well, that there'd be a gap, but it's literally uniform. There's no real gap with there at the bottom or the top. The glass, even if I can speak, sits really well, so very impressive. Alright, so we'll get the glass off. I've got to figure out how to do it first. Then we'll have a look inside. Then we'll go around the other sides of the case, we'll open up the back as well, and we'll have a really good look around inside this thing. Alright, let's get this thing opened up. So for the first time in forever, I've actually had to consult a manual on how to open up a case. So with this, you've got to, basically there's like a push at the back, so you take the top off, so you can see the front I/O, well it's the top I/O in this case, is exposed. Then inside, there's a wee screw here. You have to open up that screw, like so. We'll keep that safe. And the glass is supposed to now lift out. Like that. Which now, and that's pretty heavy glass by the way, because I can feel the weight difference already with the glass taken off. So first impressions that I see on the inside, it looks like we've got a lighting strip that goes around here by the glass. The second thing is looks like we've got 3 mounting points for fans across the bottom. So it looks like you'll be able to do like a convection where you've got from the bottom coming all the way through and you've got fans at the top for outtake. So based off what I've seen already, if you're going to put an AIO in this, I'd probably put the AIO in the top just to make sure it's taking fresh air. It'll also mean fresh air hitting the GPU. You've also got the 2 included fans here at the side, which will act as intake both for the GPU and for the AIO. So probably I would suggest putting maybe 2 fans on the bottom, which will get air going straight to GPU, and the intake from the side will go out from the top. And you've also got an outtake fan, which is here as well. Both fans look like they are infinity fans, and they look like they're RGB. If they're infinity fans, that's good, because I've already got infinity fans that I can add to this, so I'll be able to maybe put some infinity fans down the bottom and it'll look nice. The other thing as well, you've got a GPU anti-sag holder here, So it looks like it's you undo a screw here and it adjusts, it goes up and down, which is really good. So it'll be able to clamp on the GPU and stop it moving, which is fantastic. It looks like it's got all of the cutouts needed to be the old back to front motherboards with the connectors at the back. It looks like it's compatible for that. So it looks like it's really well laid out inside. One thing I would say is there are no grommets for any cables coming through, so when doing any cable management or bringing cables through, you're going to have to be a little bit more creative. There are 2 holes at the bottom for bringing GPU cables through as well, but again, no grommets in place. There's no grommets in place for any of them, so keep that in mind when thinking about your cable management. At the back, it looks like we've only got one orientation for the PSU. Oh, and by the way, before I go back, this bottom section, it looks like you have to use several screws to take that off. So if you want to get access to the bottom from this side, you're going to have to take that panel off. Anyway, back to the back. So the back, pretty standard fare. PSU orientation here. It looks like underneath you have got a pull-out cover for the fan for the PSU. And that's all you got on the bottom, and the back's pretty standard with the fan we talked about already. The for expansion cards, it doesn't look like it's got support for vertical GPUs, which to be fair I'm not a big fan of anyway, because it's so close to the glass. You're probably better using a kit to get it vertically mounted closer to the motherboard anyway. So yeah, it doesn't come ready. So let's open up the back and see what we got there. Oh, and by the way, you can see you've got the mesh for the 2 intake fans on the side. So let's take the back pedal off. Pretty easy. Okay, the one thing I would say is the screw for getting in the back isn't retained, so it's just a normal thumb screw, but would have been nice if it had been retained by the panel so you don't end up losing it. So here we got the goodie bag. Let's have a look inside, see what we get. Get a bag of spare screws, a couple of cable ties, usual fare. So at the back, as you've got this case is compatible with the connectors on the back motherboards, whatever they call them, I can never remember. There's not a lot of channels for your cable management. They've got the nice and handy plastic clasps on the side for running cables to your EPS on your motherboard. As I mentioned, you've got the 2 holes for running your cables through here. Can't see any built-in fan controller, so it looks like you'll need to either use a Lian Li or hopefully it comes with adapters. Looks like it does. It looks like it'll plug straight in. The fans that come in will plug straight into a standard motherboard header for controlling the RGB. You've got a channel here for which you've got a lot of cables pre-routed, including your front I/O, which has got a USB-C, which is nice, and 2 USB-As. You've got your combined headphone jack and your power button. No reset button. For mounting your fans at the top, looks like you can go for 120 or 140 or 120. Looks like you can go up to a maximum of probably a 360 AIO or radiator. And yeah, you've got 2 mounts for hard drives here, but you've also got an additional hard drive cage, which looks like it comes out. And you could probably mount another 2 SSDs there. So in total, you've got probably mounting. Maybe you could put 1 on top, so maybe you've got a maximum of 5 drives that you can mount on top of M.2. Yeah, so it looks pretty standard fare. The glass is the main selling point for me because that looks very different than anything else you'll get, but everything else looks pretty standard fare at the moment. It's kind of like some of the other cases you got out there, but it's kind of a mixture because you've got the standard case, which you've got your basement where you put your PSU and storage, and then you've got your main area, but it's just the glass is that much different. I'm going to put a build in it, and then we'll be able to find out how good it is. But before we put the build in it, I'm going to show you the components that are going in it. So here's the parts that I'm going to put in it. By the way, it's basically the old test bed. So I'm currently in the process of moving the test bed over here to a 14900K. I've been installing different coolers and testing them and getting ready for the first cooler of the season. So I've been doing all of that. So now I've upgraded the bench already. The parts became free. So it's going to be a 12900K, which was on the border, which was on the test bed. We've got a Z690 Aorus Elite AX DDR4. This is the memory that I was using to test on the test bed. This is the storage. It's an empty box, it's already in there. And one of the coolers I tested in a previous season, which is the Dark Rock Pro 5, is the cooler that I'm going to go with. Also, we have got the AMD Radeon RX 6950 XT. It's a couple of generations old, but it was a top of the range at that point, so still a really good. It's basically a good gaming PC that's just a couple of generations back, but this will still play anything you can throw at it at 1440p. 4K will be a bit of a stretch, but it's still going to be good. The only thing I've had to buy for this build, apart from the case, is the power supply, which I've gone for an Corsair RMX RM850X. Pretty bog standard power supply, can't go wrong with. Still going to make me mind up if I will go with any custom cables, probably not with the initial build. But yeah, they're the parts that I'm going to put in it. So now that I've shown the parts, I've done the walkthrough of the case. So let's now get the build done, and I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusion. So before I give my final thoughts and conclusion, I want to go through the cable management and what it was like to build in and stuff like that. So the channel that was there was pretty decent. I was able to get most of the cables there. The USB-C and USB-A were a bit of a pain. Routing the CPU power cables, EPS cables, what do you want to call them, was pretty easy. There weren't any tie points here, which made life a little bit difficult for some of the cables for the fans and stuff like that, but managed to tuck them away behind the power supply. In the main side was pretty easy. The GPU cables went down really well there. Cooler went in fine. 24 pin was easy. Again, the USB-C and USB-A cables, because they were so close together, were a bit of a pain. But didn't put the extra fans in the end. I'm going to maybe do that later, see if it makes much of a difference. One thing I do want to mention at this point is look at the strength of that with no glass there. It's really strong. So let me get all the panels back on and I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusion. So now that the build is finished, I'll give you my final thoughts and conclusions on the case. I think it's a really good case. I think for the price that you pay for it, which is just over $100, is pretty damn good value. With everything in, I think it looks really nice. Couple of points that I didn't keep in mind with this case. The GPU bracket, you've got to take it off before putting the motherboard in or it's in the way. There's a wire that goes from the fan and down across where the power supply basement is, which gets in the way when trying to put the power supply in, so it makes it a bit more finicky. As I mentioned, after finishing the build, couple of the USB-C and USB-A, because of where they are on the motherboard, was a bit of a pain with the cable runs and stuff like that. But other than that, I'd have to say it came out really well. Do I give this case a thumbs up? Yes, I do. I think just for the look of it, with the glass and everything else. I haven't tested airflow, obviously, because I didn't put extra fans in, etc, etc, and I'm not going to do any test booting and stuff like that because I've just literally finished the build. But to be fair, it came out really well. Building in was pretty easy. The cable management was okay. So yeah, I would give this case a thumbs up. Alright, I hope this review was helpful. I hope you enjoyed the build process and my thoughts on the build, etc, etc. If you liked the video, please put a like on it. If you want to subscribe, please do. I've got about 1,400 subscribers right now. I'm looking to increase that number. By all means, then it'd be great. And if you do subscribe, then hit the bell icon, because I only get videos out maybe once a month. So because I'm pretty sporadic, it's good having that bell icon hit so you get notified when I get videos out. And again, I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, take care.